All right, so the goal of this project is to build this small house, right? And so it's a FOBA building in Tokyo. And so we're going to do it in stages. So, well, this will be, you can use your topography site or you could use the urban site. Either one is fine. And this is the end product. It's missing a few things, but railings and stuff, but we'll put those on later. But we're going to start very simply with just an orthographic version of this, and then we're going to move into a curved version, right, and how that works. And then we'll finally get to sort of the more complex version of it. So that's how we're going to approach it. And we're going to start with just this really orthogonal, simple version. So if I spin around, this is in a very dense urban area. So there is one window on the side of this that we'll eventually put in, but in this version there is no window. So it's a very simple building with curtain wall and some overlaps and things like that. So we're going to build that. And what I'm going to do here, let's take a look. Let me hide this guy. And what I'm hoping is that we'll start to get, with this really simple version, you'll understand sort of the parametric relationships between the modeling elements and the levels, and both their type and instance parameters. So for example, if I come in and I go to my south elevation here and I WTZA, oops, get these guys and zoom in on this guy a little bit here, right? And then zoom in, already zoomed on this one. And I pick, for example, this wall. All of the instance parameters over here, you're going to see it has a base constraint of plan A1. So it's starting here at plan A1, right? So over here you can see it as well. Right, it's starting at plan A1. The base offset is 0, right? And it goes up to level roof. So you can see it's going up to level roof. So that's controlling the height of it, right? And then it doesn't have any offsets. What's controlling the width of it is the type parameters. So if I go to edit type, you will see the type parameters here. Let me go ahead and make this a little smaller so it's not covering up the entire screen. And the type parameters include the structure. So if I go to the structure and edit the structure, it has a generic wall and just sort of made of goo, and it's 1 foot thick. So it's a very simple wall. So that's sort of how this thing is created instead of sort of abstractly giving it depth and height. It's actually being controlled by these type and instance parameters. And so if I were to go in and let's say I say the top offset of the roof is 4 feet. Right now that roof is 4 feet taller, or I can come in and say it's 0. If I were to adjust the roof level, so because it's adjusted, it's kind of a funny level at 34 and 1 and 15, 30 seconds. Anyway, if I were to adjust the roof level, let's take it down to, let's say 25 feet. Let's see if it'll squish it. You'll see everything that's associated with that roof now goes down, right? So if I come and take it up to 35 feet, right, now it goes back up. So if I pick the roof, it's actually associated to roof A. So wherever that level roof A goes, that level of the roof goes. So the other thing that you can look at is, let's look at this sort of the level for plan 3, because this floor is on level plan 3. You can see over here, this is on plan 3. If I change plan 3 and drop it, whoops, these little things are the bane of my existence. Drop it to, let's say 17 feet. You're going to see, you're going to see the entire floor move down, right? So you can see it getting shorter, or if I undo that, getting taller. So the way that it flexes the model makes a big difference. So basically what's happening is the model elements are hosted on these levels, and these levels control where they are. It would make it very easy to change the plate height of your building, right, on the fly. Instead of having to go in and shorten everything, you can come in and actually move the level and everything on the level moves. The shortcoming of that is if I delete the level, everything that's associated that just turned orange will go away because they're hosted on that level. And so the level is like the parent, and then the modeling elements that are hosted to it are attached to them like, I don't know, maybe children. And so if you delete the level, everything, the parents leave with the children. Okay. So that's a big part of the sort of conceptual. Okay, so I did also want to talk a little bit about instance parameters and type parameters. So let's take a look at those for just a second. So I'm just looking at the wall here. So if I pick this wall, it's a generic interior 9-inch wall. And these are instance parameters. So it has a base constraint of A1 and a top constraint of A2. This one is the same wall type, right? So it's also a generic interior 9-inch, but it has different instance parameters that allow it to skip the level, right? So its base constraint is A2 and its top level is A3. So what's a type parameter? So a type parameter, if I pick this guy and go to edit type, it gives you several different parameters. One is the structure. So if I go to the structure of this and edit it, it's showing 9 inches thick. However, if I come in and change this to, let's make it 1'6" and click OK, and then I'm going to apply that, and you're going to see all of the 9-inch walls are now 1'6". So that's a type parameter. It changes every instance of that type, but the instance parameters are unique to every instance of that type. So I'm just going to cancel that and undo it. So hopefully that makes a little sense in terms of what else, the difference between a type and an instance. So if I pick this and go to edit type, if I come in, there's this thing called a type mark that you can mark the wall with. And I'll just call this one W9, right, for wall 9-inch thick. And now if I pick this one, which is the same type, and I go to edit type, W9 is there, right? So all of the walls, if it's a type parameter, will have W9. There's also a thing called a mark. So I could name this W9-1, right? And then this one still does not have a mark because it's an instance parameter. They can have unique marks, and there are reasons for that. So I can name this one W9-2, right? And so this one is W9-1. This one's W9-2. So I hope that sort of starts to make some sense in terms of what an instance and a type parameter is and what we're going to be working on.